I noticed that Unreal Engine tutorial videos are trash, so I decided to start making my own. If you enjoy these, please like and subscribe. A class is a blueprint that defines what something has and what it can do. The concept of classes goes like this. Let's say there is a class called food. What defines the food class is to be edible and digestible by the human body. This covers a wide variety of items that fall into the class of food. Within the class of food, we can create more specific classes, like there is the class of fruits, which has all the properties within the class of food, but may also have another property unique to the class of fruits alone, which is to have seeds. This process by which the fruit gets all the properties of the class of food is called class inheritance, where the food is the parent and the fruit class is its child. The way I have explained this concept so far is okay for a first grader, but insufficient if you are an adult who takes things a bit more seriously. So let's look at this example in the form of some C++ code. Alright, so you are given a class called food, and let's give this food some properties like it has a name, some calories, it has a freaking taste, you know what I mean? And let's also give this food some behaviors and functionality that all food will have, like you can eat all food. And the food can spoil as well. So now we have our parent class, food. Gonna make it nice and neat, labeled here. This is our parent class. And now everything we create from here is gonna get the properties and behavior of the food. So here comes our child, fruit. And it gets everything from food. It has its own unique properties to fruit, like sweetness level. It has seeds. An amount of seeds, I guess, mix it up. Seed count. And fruit's gonna have its own unique functionality and behaviors. You describe it differently than food. Alright, so now that we have our food and fruit, let's create a food item, like something in the food class. Got pizza, it's gotta have calories and a taste. Pizza, just like food, you can eat it. And what's the other one? Yes, you can spoil the pizza. And now if we make an instance of fruit, it's going to get all the properties fruit has and the properties of the parent. And so it's got the properties of the parent, and now we're giving it some unique fruit properties like, the seed sweetness, and let's give it a more realistic amount of seeds, and if it has seeds, which is true. And so apple, just like food, can eat. Gets that from the parent food class, and unique to the apple class, you can describe the fruit. It gets it from the apple. Unique. Oh wait, no, the fruit, right? Yeah, the fruit. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and run this code, see what happens. I'm gonna check for some syntax errors real quick. Looks good. Semicolons where they're supposed to be. Yeah, these are constructors right here. Let me just label that. What you saw me spleeging out right there were constructors, and right here is the use of these constructors. Pretty much creates them. Now we got an error. Hold on. Just give me a second. Okay. Alright. This is private. You don't need to know this yet, I guess, but make this class public, and now if we run it, I swear, there it is. As you can see, the functionalities print out, you know what I mean? So let's connect this idea of classes to Unreal Engine 5. At the very top, you have the actor class, which is any object that can exist in the game world. So like characters, cameras, lights, the props, they're all actors. And we can get more specific classes like the pawn. The pawn class can be controlled, and then there's the character, which has movement and jumping around, stuff like that. So just like in our earlier example, the food to fruit, the actor is like the food and the pawn is like the fruit, and the character is even more specialized. So let's get in here and let's check out our BP third person character here. So whenever you're looking at this, you're looking at a blueprint class. It's a template. You can create many instances of it in the game. We can add things like a camera, a collision box, or a mesh into it. When you do this, you're adding components to the class. What is a component? Well, in Unreal Engine 5, components are modular pieces that you can attach to the class to give it specific properties, behaviors, functionality. Think back to our earlier food example, like eat, spoil, and sweetness. They're properties of the class. And so yeah, whenever you drag and drop components in there, you're modifying the class itself. So every instance of that class will also get those properties. And so like there's two systems working together. There's the vertical parent to child relationship, and then there's the horizontal component slash functionality and behavior relationship to each class. So in conclusion, in Unreal Engine, classes define what an object is, using inheritance to build more complex behavior from simpler base classes like the actor. And at the same time, components are used to define what that object is made of. And when you drag and drop components like a camera or collision box into a blueprint, we are customizing the class, giving it properties and behaviors and functionalities that are unique to that class. And all other classes that are children of that class will inherit that functionality. So yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe.